Hello everybody and welcome to Evil Ted Live here on twitch.tv/EvilTedSmith. I was in Seattle for the Emerald City Comic Con and I hung out with my friend Bill Duran at Punished Props, and we were watching a cool video from our friend Joel, the 3D printing nerd, and they were doing a little review on the Baby Groot. So Bill Duran said, "Hey, would you like one?" I'm like, "Totally." So Bill went to the basement with his Ultimaker and he printed up this for me. Baby Groot. Isn't that super cool? So in this episode today, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to clean this up and get it prepped for paint. And for all you people out there who want to know, where can I get one of these? I'll have all the information on the links below. You can check out the review from my friend Joel at the 3D Printing Nerd, and also we'll have links for the download of Baby Groot for your 3D printer, for you people out there who have one. So I know I'm ready, so let's get started. I like the grain on this guy, but there's a little bit of stuff. And what I'm gonna do is I have a nail file, and I'm gonna kind of take the majority of the high stuff down and knock some of this down. I don't want to go crazy on the sanding too much, but I definitely want to get some of the 3D printing lines out of it. And you see this little bit of flange, all this little flange in here? This is really thin. And I'm going to take an X-Acto blade, very carefully, and trim this stuff off, because it should be able to oh, there it goes, just pull off. There we go. That's actually coming off a lot easier than I expected to. I went ahead, sand salt. I look really good. I'm really happy with the sanding on the below this half. I think I'm safe enough to glue this on. I have some Zap-A-Gap, and I'm going to just use that on the print. There we go. And we'll just slide Baby Groot on. There it is. All right, glue it on. Give that a couple minutes there. Let the headset. It's super glue glues. It dries, sticks pretty quickly. So that is it. My next step will be I would like to put a coat of primer on Baby Groot. What we have for primer today is I have the Rust-Oleum Automotive primer. I have this in my shop. The reason I'm using this is because this is what I have in my cabinet. Primer, pretty much Krylon primers, any kind of primer you get, just a good generic basic primer. This is Automotive primer, which is a little bit expensive, but this is what I have in the shop, and this is what I'm going to use. And anything like primers, you have to shake this. And if you're a bearing in there, that means it needs to be shaken extremely well. So that's what I have to do right now. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and excuse me for a little bit while I shake the crap out of my primer. Look at that. Primer. Primer makes the world of difference. You can see all the detail. It's all properly. This is Automotive primer, so it kind of does a little bit of filling. So I did about 2 coats of the primer on here. Looks great. Okay, what we're gonna do here. This is gloss medium. This is a dark brown acrylic. I got my cardboard. I'm gonna squirt a little bit on my board here. I got a white brush, and we're just gonna start painting in the nooks and crannies our Baby Groot. This color's dark, I like it. I'm gonna do some highlights, and I'm gonna mix up a lighter brown. Little dab of paint right here. I'm just gonna wet my brush a little bit. Not too much, just get a little damp. Tap it, and I like working on a piece of cardboard so I can take it on put it on my brush and then thin it out so it doesn't get too heavy. Let's start over here on the arm. You guys can see now the color starting to come in a little bit. But definitely, I'm telling you right now, we definitely want to do a dark wash on this. And the other cool thing is that if you do have a spot that you went too heavy on, this base color I do have, I can just always go back and just touch, paint back over it again. All right, well, this is my slightly brushed colored base we got on it. Looks a little bit better. It looks all right. I'm going to do next. I want to put on a different color here. Here we go. I got this brush now is got it clean, a little bit drier. I'm going to add my new color. And the reason it's quick is it's dry, therefore it'll only go where I want it to go. Just try the top of the head real quick. taking colors upon colors and just layering. And it's the truth. You don't see it at first, but if you start doing different colors and layering and brushing, because right now, this looks great. I'm putting on my third color, and I'm not going all over the place with it. I'm just hitting some spots, and just breaking that color up with different colors really makes a difference. Here's my black. As you look in there, see that brown in there? That's from me taking a dirty brush and dipping the black. You should not do that. Don't do what I do. I just got lazy with a brush, like, that's good, and now I got brown in my black. And I'm going to add a little bit of brown to my black. I don't want to go crazy on the brown. I just want to do a little bit of brown. I just don't want it to be just directly black. I would like to have a little hint of brown to it. Ah, there we go. I am mixing up my black. I don't know if you guys can see that. Blackish brown. I got my wash. We did a little pot in his hand. Seemed a little dark, so I just thinned it down with a little bit of more water. The plan is we'll wash it down. If it darkens up stuff too much, we can always go back and just repaint some highlights. But let's go ahead and give Groot, because I love all this detail and I do not want to lose it. But let me get a clean paper towel to stand by to blot. Baby Groot is gonna get a dirty wash. Just like that. I am Groot. I am Groot. Wow, see, this is why I wanted to do it, because look at all that detail. That 3D printer, guys, look at this stuff. It's insane. Now I got my paper towel. There's some deep spots here. Nice. But it's thin enough that, see, it's running all the nooks and crannies of Groot. What I have below me, guys, is a piece of cardboard. Sometimes I lay a piece of butcher paper down, but the paper always gets wet and just turns into mush. So when I sometimes paint, I like to use scrap pieces of cardboard on my surface. So it keeps my table clean, but also kind of absorbs this paint and doesn't get to be a slushy mess. There, I got the light a little better. There's Baby Groot. See, now he's got a black wash. Look at all that detail. See, it's all popping now. And again, you can't see that unless you put some paint into it, but that looks great. What we're going to do is we're going to let this dry a little bit, and once it gets dry enough, we'll come back and we'll start painting the eyes. I'm happy. So the next step I want to do is I want to paint his eyeballs. And I'm going to paint those with, I like Tomoe. Tomoe is a great paint. It's good. This is alcohol-based paint, so I have a cup of alcohol here. I'll use a thinner. I like this brush, but I think the bristles are a little big. Let me get a finer tip brush for this. All right, again, I grab my brush I really like, and of course it's dirty because it wasn't clean from the last time I used it. Ugh. When you're done painting, people, clean up your, do as I say, not as I do. I just had this, look at this, it still got black paint from the last time I used it. Dang it, Ted. Clean your brushes when you're done with them. Ugh. Now, Baby Groot eyeballs are kind of simple because they are just black. He has big doll-like eyes. So the trick is to paint just the eyeball and not anything else. Alright, fantastic. Now, we got Baby Groot. Got his eyes painted, but we're going to let that dry because I have a trick I want to show you people. There's a little trick I learned in the movie industry for monsters and creature stuff. I worked in the creature shop for years, and we were making some background masks and whatnot and painting some monsters. And a little trick that my friend taught me was that you could paint eyeballs, but to give them a little bit of hint of life is to mix up 5-minute epoxy and put over the eyes, which makes them wet and glossy, which brings life to your mask or your sculptures. So I'm going to do the same technique with Baby Groot for his eyeballs. I'm going to mix a little 5-minute epoxy to put on his eyes to give it that glassy, wet look. Don't need a lot because it just takes very little. Okay, what I do is I took a Q-tip and just cut the head off it. That's something to move. I'm using this to move the epoxy around with. And I'll show you in a second. I got my 5-minute right here. I'm going to go and mix these guys up. All right, you guys can see this is really thoroughly mixed. Good. Now, I'm going to take little bit of this. And I'm going to dab it on the eyeball, like this. Like that. And I'm going to chase it with a stick. Spread it around. Try to get it on just the black. Nowhere else but on. Let's give this 5 minutes before we set this down so it doesn't drip. So I'll leave that right there. And you have your epoxy, and this is your threshold right here. So when you touch this, this is when you know when you're safe enough to move it, when it gets hard. So I'm gonna leave that epoxy. I checked my popsicle stick. It is not moving because it's stuck to the table. See, this shows me the 5-minute epoxy is set. I know for a fact now this is set that it is safe to set my Baby Groot down. Put the light on. Ta-da! Look at that, guys. Baby Groot. Look at his eyes. See how nice and wet and shiny they are? Give a little bit of light. This pretty much wraps up Baby Groot. I like it. I like the color. The black wash really worked. Got all the detail. What I'm going to do next, unfortunately, I won't be able to do in the stream. The missing piece is green moss. I'm going to go to the craft store, the train store, model store. They have little green moss. And I'm going to just take a look at pictures of Baby Groot from the movie Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and put some green moss. I know some green moss I think up on his head, but this pretty much complete Baby Groot. This looks awesome. There he is, everybody, Baby Groot. Now the eyeballs, look at that, guys. That's super awesome. That little 5-minute epoxy trick I showed is really great for doing little things on kits and eyeballs. It actually works on a mask and things as well if you want to give a little bit of a creepy light, because eyeballs have a tendency to be glossy and white and you catch the highlights. That's really cool. Again, everybody, I want to big a shout out to my friend Bill Duran at Punish Props for 3D printing this for me, and also a big shout out to our friend Joel over at 3D Printing Nerd for having that file, do the review on this and showing us how this bad boy works. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, all the information and links will be below. Just click on those. And if you're new to watching my channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on it. Check me out. I have numerous videos. You go to my website, eviltedsmith.com, where I have numerous patterns for sale. I have links for Amazon and supplies, shopping supplies. If you guys like what I'm doing, subscribe, shop on my links, buy my patterns to keep this thing going. And a matter of fact, you guys are watching this. I did this live on Twitch. I stream live on Mondays and Tuesdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I stream on Thursdays from noon to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for coming and hanging out. And I'll catch you back next time right here on Evil Ted Live.